So I'm here with Richard Moriarty. Is that how you?
Yeah.
Okay. And this tractor behind you is an SC case.
Yes.
And you're pretty fond of this tractor.
Ha! It's the best. It's the best. Bought new in 1949 in Berlin from Augie Schleep. He was a sort of a one-man case dealer,
Okay.
and it has never ever been back to Berlin except when I brought it back when there was a valve job we did on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that back when the gas changed and getting away from the lead was hard on the valves?
Well, it probably was, but that's about 1955 probably.
Oh, okay.
When it was done. Yeah, and this is a sandy farm.
Yep.
Yeah, and did all the cultivators are in the shed yet for it, and had a plow for it, 2-bottom plow.
Yep.
And cultivators for it. So it was a great tractor. It's the original tires on the rear.
Okay. Well, those are old Goodyears, aren't
yeah,
they? Yeah.
This is front is
replaced them.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. You bet.
Well, just the cast iron in them wheels alone will wear a set of front tires out.
You bet.
Case didn't hold back on the cast iron when they built these, did they?
You bet. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. So
this tractor is pretty important to you because this kind of got you. So you didn't just farm. You've been in the farm equipment business for a long time. So now I got Pat and John here, and you guys are Richard's sons.
Yes.
That's what they tell us.
And the family business has been equipment since what, 1967, right?
Yep.
1967 is when
Past.
our dad told his dad, I don't want to work for you anymore. And his dad was in the refrigeration business right across the street from the building that we're standing in. And Richard, when he was 17 or 18 years old, how the story goes, he told his dad that I don't want to work for you anymore. I don't want to be in the refrigeration business. I want to do my own thing. And his dad told him, well, Richard, whatever you do, don't name your business anything to do with the Moriarty name. Because it's Moriarty Refrigeration. Our grandpa's business was Moriarty Refrigeration. He started when he come back from World War II. And he says, don't name it anything to do with the Moriarty name because you're not going to succeed. So Richard picked his own initials, R&M, Richard Moriarty. No, it was never a partnership, R and someone else, or R and Moriarty. It was Richard and Moriarty is what R&M Motors stood for. So I don't know if Grandpa told Dad that to light a fire under his ass or for what reason, but
That's just what he named it. And he started in '67 downtown fixing milk trucks, and but he always had a soft spot in his heart for farm machinery, and so then he got to dabbling in the farm machinery, I would say in the late '70s, mid to late '70s, and had a little grass lot actually right across the road here next to his parents' refrigeration business that he put his equipment in. And
what was he selling back then?
oh,
Was he selling used stuff to begin with?
used farm machinery, 730 John Deere's, 630s, Farm All M's,
Yep, small Wisconsin dairy farmer tractors at the time.
Right. 3010s, just started out that way, and grew from there.
a lot of his stuff in the early days, he would come from Richland Center, co-tractor. Jen and I remember going there on Fridays. I think it was every other Friday.
I think it started out every Friday, but then towards the end there it was every other Friday. But man, he made a lot of trips down there with that old implement truck, and but he went to a lot of farm auctions too, and But that's how Pa got his start.
Started working on milk trucks for Alto Dairy and dump trucks for Shire Sand, if I recall right, in the brick building downtown Berlin on Main Street, right across from Quick Trip now.
An old blacksmith shop. And
When he started out there, it was a dirt floor. He talks about he had to pour the concrete in there, and the floor was lower than the street. And so when it would rain, the water, even with concrete floor, would still come in the doors. So in what year did he build the building north of Berlin?
80, he built that building. And
You can't lay on a creeper on that floor without rolling to the drain.
yeah, she's got plenty of pitch on. I remember Pa always saying that he wasn't going to pay the concrete guy if the water stood on the floor.
Got sick of working in the water on the floor. First building.
Yeah.
And then you guys started selling some new equipment too, right, along the way.
Yeah, in the early 80s, he got into, he had a good friend, Dave Lashasky, that was a Deutz dealer back then. And Dave talked Pa into selling Deutz, and he sold a lot of them Deutz tractors back in the day, but still was selling the used equipment. And gradually, throughout the years, I mean, when we got all the new equipment in, 2010?
Yes.
We had 42 different lines altogether, short lines and Massey Ferguson and a bunch of others. But
Which in the 80s, the short line stuff was probably pretty good with small dairy farms, because even though the economy is tough, they still needed
a spreader or
chopper box,
right.
or
Yes.
I don't know. He sold Meyer's equipment, and all I remember as a kid is setting up them bale racks every single day, I don't know how many of them kicker racks he sold, when them first started to be a big deal in the early 80s.
Well, and guys were transitioning from stacking on the wagon,
right.
And they got a 336 with a kicker, or a New Holland, 268 or something, or 273 with a thrower,
Yeah.
Deutz hay equipment was big for Dad for
Quite a few years. He sold quite a few balers, a lot of round balers, a hell of a bunch of them KS85 rakes.
Yeah, that rotary rake,
Yeah.
a lot of guys had them.
Man, oh man, we set up thousands of them. I mean, all he had to do was take one of them out to a farmer when they were ready to make hay, and demonstrate it, and he'd be pulling their 256 back or whatever he was trading in was coming back with them, because it just dried the hay so much quicker,
Yeah, it didn't make it didn't twist the hay up
make a
tight
rope
the way that.
Yeah.
Yep,
He won a trip through Deutz. He was the largest Deutz hay rake dealer, or sold the most hay rakes in 1 year to any dealer in, for sure, the country. It might have been the world, but he was a big number. And Deutz, I remember, actually sent a film crew here to Berlin, Wisconsin, to make a video of how Dad would demonstrate the rakes, how he would sell the rakes, because other dealers weren't having such good success. But Dad would take the rake out and demonstrate and show the farmer
you had
the
to
benefit of it.
prove it to him. But
Yep.
Yeah, and then once Deutz quit shipping tractors over, well, then he got into Massey Ferguson.
So was he a Deutz Alice dealer then too?
Yeah, for a short period of time.
Okay.
It was Deutz Far, Deutz Alice, and then it had AGCO for a bit.
Yeah.
He did the Agco Alice.
Yeah.
For a little while?
A little bit.
We even had, I remember, new 6080 Alice's. Those say Alice Chalmers, or what did those say?
Deutz Alice, I think, or
As far as I know, what happened if they had new Alice Chalmers inventory after
had to
Deutz bought them?
redecal 'em.
Yep, they put the decals over the top of
Right.
the Alice decals.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that sticker over a sticker on those Alice Tractors. So there was quite a few years there that we really didn't have a decent tractor to hang our hat on. Because Deutsch was struggling with what they were going to hang their hat on.
Yep.
But we ended up with Massey Ferguson, and for some reason I would say 96, but maybe it was earlier than that.
Yeah, right around that time. But we were always selling used machinery in the meantime, you know, I mean.
Well, small dairy farmers bought used tractors, not necessarily a lot of new tractors.
Right.
And
Yeah. I mean, a lot of John Deere 4020s. I mean, I can remember a lot of two-cylinders back when I was real young, but 4010s, 4020s, and 4440s, you know. And
yeah.
Corn pickers, pull-type pickers, mounted pickers.
man, I mean, he was a king of the pickers back in the day. I don't know.
How he has all his fingers and arms.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's, you know, that was before the combines, you know.
Yep.
And just the way them dairy farmers put their corn up around here.
In the 2000s then, late 90s, 2000s, when we'd start to travel into Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, to step it up a little bit. Let's bring some bigger tractors in. 4440s, 4455s, stuff like that. We started to bring out of Iowa and Illinois and Indiana. The guys down there were growing out of them.
Right.
That was too small for them, but up here they were just getting into that. That was ideal for the dairy farmers. So we trucked a lot of those up here.
Yeah, sure did.
You guys got pretty fond then of some of them along the way, and
Right, that's,
wanted to keep a few special tractors.
yeah, we should have kept a lot more if we know, you know, what we know now, but back then it was just another tractor.
Yeah, but the ones that you do have here, was there something special that did you set out to collect, or did you say, well, we'll just hold on to this one for a while, maybe not sell it?
I don't know, I guess the first one we bought was probably that 4055, and I always had a soft spot in my heart for them 55 series. I mean, they lasted around window cabs and
Yep.
just a bulletproof, simple tractor. And when that one come about, it's just something that we kind of knew we had to have. And
What?
It was for sale one day. It was on an auction. And John and I were there. Got to say, we didn't even discuss what we were going to pay for it. And
This one's really low hours, right?
yeah, 22.
maybe 22. I do know it said 17 when we got it. And
Yeah.
ticked up a little bit since we've had it. But
It's just a super nice original tractor. I mean, never been painted on. Got the original green paint on the manifold yet.
Never burnt it off.
The original fuel filter on. I mean,
And it's a 92,
yeah. I mean,
so it's a late
triple hydraulics.
fenders, which is a
Right.
fairly big deal. The axles, so it's got not real long
No,
axles.
don't have the long axles.
She never even,
ideal axles for a TMR in Wisconsin.
yeah. But she doesn't even have the SMV.
No, yeah.
There's paint on the PTO shaft, so what was the story behind it? Why didn't it have any hours?
The story is that two attorneys walked into a John Deere dealership in Kentucky one day. And one of the attorneys, had a soft spot for tractors, and he had a few tractors at home that he didn't use. One attorney said to the other, now does that sound like a
Yeah, I was going to say that's a setup for,
said, there was a 4055 sitting on the lot, and one guy said to the other that, hey, you should buy that tractor. Well, the other guy bought that tractor that day, and he had no use for the tractor, but I guess he bought it on a dare and put it in his shed. It was a tobacco shed down there in Kentucky. And what's a dirt floor from the story that we got. So it did accumulate some dust while it sat there, and hence the reason for some of the surface rust that you see in certain spots. It was from the condensation that built in that dust in certain spots. This thing sat on a dirt floor.
Yep.
Check this out. There's even spots on the tires where you can see where it sat. That's not so easily visible, but all 4 tires have spots. I'll take you around to the other side.
Well, she's got the knobbies on her yet. I mean,
Yeah.
Right up here on this rear tire, you can see the spots from sitting. All 4 tires show that.
yep. Well, I suppose down in the dirt. Yep.
I don't know if it was caused by the dirt or if there's rocks in that dirt on that floor, but the tractor was never used. It was never hooked to anything.
She smell new inside the cab yet?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
Like,
See what you think. Crawl up there.
yeah, this is nice. That. Oh yeah.
turn the key on and I think it's 22.9 hours.
Yeah, 22.9. Yeah, I mean, that's all original stuff. And you can tell this is original because the age got to the padding a little bit, you know,
Right.
where that separates. That's
Right.
That's kind of what you expect from it,
Yes.
you know.
If you know what you're looking for and looking at,
Yeah,
you'll know it's right.
yeah, oh yeah. Like, no, this is a really, really nice tractor. Well, there's lots. Let's just keep looking at them. What else we got? So now my favorite's right next to you. I love 4455s, and I own 2 of them. But that door shuts nice, don't it?
It's like a new one.
She hasn't been slammed, has it? Or the wind didn't catch it.
We had a buddy of ours that lives in Iowa, and he put us onto this tractor. We've had it in our personal collection for probably, 10 years?
All these tractors have been here at least for 10 years.
And, I mean, it's hours are right. It's just a super nice original 44 that's set up the way everybody wants them, with a 42-inch rubber and
Triple remote.
yeah,
92 model.
front weights.
Quick hitch.
Right.
I mean, yeah, this is clean. Like the drawbar looks right for those hours.
Yeah, I mean it.
You guys put rubber on it, or was
No, the rubber was on
it
it.
was new when you got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just imagine how good a condition this tractor is in with 2,000 hours compared to a new one.
Oh yeah, it was.
Someone took very good care of this one. This was their baby.
Yeah, and I've said that, like with tractors, where like I have a 4440 that has over 5,000 hours on, but it looks like it has
Yeah.
2,000 maximum, because the guy that owned it babied that tractor
Yeah.
every day of its life. And then the next guy, it's like sometimes you'll see a low-hour tractor that's a little faded out, not quite
Right.
right, because it wasn't that it was somebody's pride and joy;
Right.
they just didn't use it.
Right.
So it just sits around. So there's a difference.
Yeah, and most guys can tell the difference, but these tractors are all legit tractors. I mean, at 4055, it's not a European job. I mean,
Front wheel assist 4055s are somewhat more, they're more rare than the two-wheel drives on a 40.
Yeah.
I would say a 44, they're probably about 50-50 as far as two-wheel drive front wheel
Right.
assist.
Right.
Where more 4055s, I think, were probably two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Well, then we kind of skipped that 7510. That's the other one that's really, really low hours, right?
Yeah, you'd have to crawl up in it.
And what's kind of neat about the 7510 is this was the biggest model of the small frame 7010s.
Right.
Where
You just didn't see a lot of 7510s.
You didn't.
You've seen a lot of 74s, but
And what's cool
it's
about
got the E-range transmission. I mean, it's got all the bells and whistles.
well, she's triple remotes, and it's deluxe cab because it's got
Yeah.
corner post exhaust, and it's got axle mount duals. So it had long axles, axle mount duals.
Yeah, 13 hours.
So where'd this one come out of?
This one come out of Greater Implement in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Delbert sold this new to a guy there who, he needed this as bad as the guy needed the 4055, I guess. He put it away to never use and traded it in on another new tractor that he wasn't going to use. So it became available, and
Did they call you, or did you?
no, we happened to find it just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's really a neat tractor. I mean, and like we talked before, is a guy going to buy this tractor to use it, or is he going to collect it? I mean.
Well, I mean, they are, I know around here, but over by us, like 7410s and stuff with loaders were
Yeah,
tons of them. I mean,
Right.
that was one of the favorite.
absolutely.
But this having axle mount duals and the deluxe I mean, this is loaded up too. A triple, because
Yeah.
triple remotes, axle mount duals, and corner post exhaust and everything on a 7510 is
Yeah,
not a common.
E-range transmission. I mean, it's got all the options.
Because a lot of times if somebody was buying the small frame, it was an economy
Yeah,
tractor anyways, where this one is not an economy tractor.
right.
And we should say, we kind of skipped that, but this is kind of a retirement for your dad's business, basically.
Yes. Your dad kind of retired when we switched from selling those 42 different brands of new products in 2011 to just selling used equipment. We always did well selling used, and we just finally one day, it dawned on us, why are we putting ourselves through all this extra stress of being in business, selling the new stuff? Actually, we're stressed out. Where's the stress coming from? It was coming from the new stuff, dealing with the manufacturers and maybe a few of the customers. Well, we decided let's go back to selling used. So we talked to Mom and Dad about that, and they said, yeah, that's what you guys want to do, go for it. So in 2011, we wrote two letters. One letter went to all the manufacturers that we represented, and another letter went to every single customer we had on file. I think we had 8,000 customers, 8,000 letters that went out. And the letter that went to the customers said, hey, this is what we're up to. We're going to cease selling all new equipment, but you got 90 days to come in and get any service work done, get your warranty work done, get any parts you need. And we sent the letter to the manufacturers, and out of all the manufacturers we represented, not a single one even called us. Said, hey, what's going on? What would it take to help for you guys to stick around? So that just confirmed we were making the right decision at that time.
Yep.
There was a few customers that were up in arms that we weren't going to be supporting the stuff that we had sold, but we did give them enough time to come in and get their warranty work and service work and parts. We shifted gears, threw it in a different gear, and away we went. And since then is when we've kind of acquired all this kind of stuff
Yeah.
we've acquired a lot of stuff that we have never used, will never use, that now it's time to throw it in a different gear. And go a different direction. So it's been fun collecting this, but really these tractors we had in a corner of the building in the dark since we've owned them, 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah, we just haven't did nothing with them, and it was fun to own them, but it's going to be fun to see them go to a new owner too. I mean, where are they going to end up? What are they going to be used for? And you know, these tractors like this don't come available every day, and you got to take advantage of the opportunity when the opportunity arises, you know, and they're just one-off tractors by all means. I mean,
Yeah.
As John said, what's going to happen with these is the guy that ends up with a high bid that day, what's he going to do with it? Do you put it away as we did and protect it, or for what a new one costs and the unreliability of the new ones, do you hook it up to something and use it? It's proven reliability. You can still get the parts. You can pretty much work on it yourself.
Well, like the 7510 here, to replace that with a new tractor today, you're talking 200 grand at least.
at least, yeah.
So, no emissions on this one.
Right,
You know, you're not buying DEF.
right, right.
You can put some time on either of these tractors and they're still very valuable.
Yeah.
Put some time on a new, that $200,000 tractor and
They depreciate.
put 10,000 hours on one of those and see what it's worth.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Yeah.
Well, then let's look it down the line. Let's look at the 7520, which did you grab the 7520 so you'd have the pair?
No, we just bought that. I tell you, we used that tractor on our box blade for leveling the yard at the other shop. I mean, that's all that tractor's ever did since we owned it.
How many hours on this one?
30-some hundred.
So those are probably, did you guys add the duals?
Duals are on there. It is an IVT transmission.
Okay.
It's an excellent tractor.
It was sold at Midstate in Columbus.
Yeah.
Not too far from here. That was a sticker that was on it. It's been a good tractor. Ideal for what we use it for. It's more than what we need for what we use it for.
Yeah, we just use it once a week to pull that box blade around to level up the gravel in it.
Yep.
It served its purpose well for that.
Corner exhaust on this one. How many remotes on this one?
Oh, I'd have to look myself.
These IVT transmissions are nice. It takes a little bit to figure them out, but once
Yeah.
you figure them out, they're so slick and easy to use.
Triple remotes.
Triple remote. And she's been a work tractor.
Right,
yes.
This one is not a
Not a collection.
museum piece.
No,
It's a nice, solid.
7520.
Yeah. Yep.
But no, this wasn't in our. It was just our own personal tractor that we used on the blade. And
Yeah, and this, I mean, like, it's got the deer where it was known to fade on the
Right.
plastic, where it's a little different. It's got some cracks.
Yeah.
'Cause this is early in the this is one of the first plastic hoods,
right,
or the tilt hoods,
Right.
plastic. So, but still a nice tractor.
oh yeah,
Doesn't need anything.
no,
No.
no,
Now this 4020 is pretty clean. That's
yeah, that's a tractor that Pioneer Seeds bought new, and they had a 4-row test plot planter on the back, a 3-point mount. That's why all the weight's on the front, and Murphy switch and roll bar. It's just a super nice unmolested 4020 at
how many hours?
5,200 hours. And
Okay.
hours are right.
Where'd you guys find this one?
Actually, a buddy of ours in Iowa acquired,
Indiana's.
or Indiana, I guess it was, yeah.
This one come out of Indiana.
And we've used the tractor ourselves. I mean, it's 100%.
Was that last
Last
fall?
spring.
Last spring we planted 5,000 Christmas trees with it right across the street. And
It just purrs like a kitten.
something about these just fun to drive. How easy they steer and
Yeah.
the hydraulic power they have. Then you grab that big long shifting lever and it just
Yeah.
feels like you got.
Well, the 4020 and that 1955 were not that far apart in horsepower, but two completely different driving tractors.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Like these were a finesse tractor, these were hydraulics, maneuverability, etc. And that The old 1955 was just meant to pull stuff.
Right.
Yes, the workhorse. You know, the engineering that went into this tractor versus what went into that was totally different schools of thought.
Yep. It was.
They were both going to last forever, but one was just a little easier to drive and a little nicer to look at.
Yeah. So this. How long you guys had this one then?
I don't know, maybe. We had that one quite a while, 15 years probably.
Okay.
Check out those unique axle loops on there that they would have used.
To tie it down?
Yes. And the unique battery boxes.
They had a fire extinguisher, I'm guessing, up here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dual hydraulics, diff lock, just 38-inch rubber.
Yep. And there's another fire extinguisher on the other side, so it's interesting. Yeah, not a lot of drawbar wear, which if it was on a 3-point planter,
Right.
you know.
Back seat. You're good for all day planting corn.
Yeah. And that is well, the decal is for the original roll guards. I wonder if it had a canopy and somebody took it off.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
I bet they did.
Probably. Yeah, but it's you
Original paint.
Yeah, and I mean it's still got the foam in the nose. I mean it's just makes somebody a hell of a good 40/20.
Well, there's the dealership sticker, the original, and you can kind of see the fade to it. But
Right.
yeah, that's really neat. Now the Oliver, so she's a Waukesha engine on these.
Yeah.
And
This has a neat look with those chubby tires and the fuel tank fenders and original paint.
yeah, where'd this come out of?
This one come out of Illinois, Central Illinois.
Okay.
We always were going to restore it, but it's just too nice of an original tractor to. I've had a lot of interest in this tractor. I mean, there's a lot of Oliver guys around this area, and drew a lot of attention.
I wouldn't repaint it.
No.
I mean, because
They're only original ones.
right, that's just it.
Yeah.
So if it survived,
Right.
well, at this point, what, close to 60 years,
Yeah.
like this, I mean, why change it?
Right.
No, they're a neat, big old tractor.
Yeah.
It's impressive to listen to that thing run and see the smoke that comes out of the stack and the weather cap open when you push the throttle ahead. And
Yeah.
it's just it just feels like you got something there that
Oh,
the
yeah.
new tractors don't do that. That's for sure.
No. Now, the 826 is a gold demo.
That's a real gold demonstrator. I think there's a lot of imposters out there, but this one is a real one.
Well, and this is probably a little bit odd for a gold demo, ain't it, that it's a gear drive 826?
Yeah, I know they made some hydros.
Because I think original what they were pushing on the hydro or on the gold demo program, they wanted to get the hydro
Right.
out and stuff. But if I remember right, this was a cheaper way if you had an IH, because you had to buy one if you were an IH dealer, that they could get the gear drive 826 was cheaper than having a hydro or a 1456 or a 1026. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool that it's a gear drive to me. And it's still, because they were supposed to be, so you find a lot of gold demos where they were repainted red.
Right.
And then somebody goes, well, here's the evidence.
Right.
Now we'll repaint it as a gold demo.
Right.
But an original paint gold demo,
Yeah, true original one is.
where'd this come from?
This one come out of Iowa.
Okay.
That was probably been 15 years ago. We didn't get much history on this one, but I guess you don't need much history because you can see it. You can see this one's original.
Yep.
We did put tires on this one, but the rest is all just how it was when we got it.
Just two remotes.
Yeah.
Is it a fast hitch or is it a 3-point?
3-point.
It is a 3-point. Dual PTO. This one's got a tilt wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool that it's got tilt wheel on an 826.
Yeah, that was always kind of a neat option on these IHs.
Yeah, they didn't work very good.
No.
But
They were trying.
yeah, they made an effort. When I was a kid with the old 1466 of Dad's, you know, I'd always grab the steering wheel when you were bored, and you'd put it down, and you go, look, I'm on a boat. Then you'd put it up, and you're like, oh, I'm driving the bus, you know. So that's a neat tractor. I'm guessing you get some interest in this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of interest in all of this stuff, real honestly, and I mean, it's just stuff that you don't see every day, and
No.
kind of what a lot of people are into nowadays are these generation of tractors. You know, the old two-cylinder guys are going by the wayside, and you know, a lot of these younger generation are starting to get into this era, I guess you might say.
Yep. No, this is a really neat tractor. And like I said, the original, I'm big on originality. I'm not so big on restorations.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with people restoring a tractor.
Right.
That's great. But to me, I like seeing original. The more original, the better.
For sure. Yeah.
And from a collector, you know, standpoint, I think that's, like, to me, that really stands out, because like I said, how many times do you see where the gold demo is? Oh, we found some gold paint under here, so it's got to be a gold demo.
Right.
Yes.
Because there is no serial number.
I guess not. They never kept track.
It just has to be, what, a 70 model
I think
in order to be a gold demo.
Okay.
So it has to be a 1970, I believe. I could be wrong. It could be 71, but I think it's 70. It has to be a 70. And then, and typically what I understand, guys look for, you know, gold paint hidden, and they look for the black around the
steering column.
Yeah, around the column and stuff. Because when they repainted them, maybe they just took the hoods off.
Right.
And they didn't bother to repaint around the steering column.
Yeah.
So that's really neat.
No, they're starting to be kind of valuable. I mean, they had a 656 Hydro, just the original, on a sale here a couple weeks ago that brought 12,000. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't a gold demonstrator, but I mean, these older internationals are pretty neat tractors.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with these, you know.
Yeah.
But now, if you guys were in the equipment business, that's probably why you got some trucks too, right?
Necessary evil.
Right.
Bad habits.
So should we talk about your Kenworth here?
Yeah.
Your A model W9, which I love old trucks. So 8-bag air ride.
Yeah, 8-bag air ride, 13 speed.
24, is it tall 24s?
Yeah. Brand new Bridgestone rubber we put on it, replaced all the airbags.
Aluminum on the inside too.
Yeah. Just a super clean, original, unmolested truck, you might say. And with the 3406 Cat and 400 horse.
And it's a 60-inch
Bunk.
VIT
Yeah, interior.
bunk, and it's got the VIT interior. So a lot of these old Kenworths would be a Splendor package interior.
Right.
And she's got full gauge package.
Yeah.
And even on the door tag, it says a 12.513. So it's got a 13 speed.
Yeah.
Eldorado seats, which these have been replaced, but still, that was the seat to have in a.
Back in the day.
Yeah, when you had an A model or a 359, you were going to have an Eldorado.
Right.
Because the way the cab was short.
Right.
So that is an old turbo. That is a very old turbo. The AC must work.
We updated that AC. We changed it over to 134. Got that all tuned up. That works good. Put new belts on it, some hoses. I mean, we run this truck in the summer months ourselves. Some goes down the road as good as our new ones. I mean, it's just a...
Well,
it's what I like about it. It has that cat motor. You know, a lot of these I think had the Cummins.
Yep. Oh, even a few Detroits back
Right,
then.
right.
The 92 series Detroit in 81 yet.
And it's the 400 horse.
And it's white. The engine's white,
Yeah.
so that's correct for...
I'm not sure what year they went to the yellow motors.
Well, depends. It kind of depends. So like on the Peterbilt part of it, a lot of it was even with the factory.
Okay.
So they kept the white motors on maybe longer at Newark than they did, say, in Denton or Nashville. So like I have an 86 359 extended hood, and that's a Nashville built, and that's still a white motor.
Okay.
But yeah, Packard wanted at one point it was they painted their motors white because the original advertising was something special about it. It has to be a special motor for a special truck.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, the white on the Kenworth, and I mean that paint on the cowling, I mean it doesn't look like they masked that off, does it?
No.
So
I mean, it's definitely a low mileage truck. I mean, it's showing 390,000.
look at the fan shroud.
Right.
It's
just a nice unmolested truck. I mean, so many of these trucks have got changed around throughout the years, and
well, and these wear.
Oh yeah.
The hood bushings get bad and stuff,
Yeah.
and the hood rattles, and the fiberglass hoods were known to crack some and get
sure.
rock chipped up pretty bad and stuff, and
Yeah.
I mean, she's pretty. It just is, you know.
Yeah, it's something you don't see every day.
No, I would. Yeah, it is. I mean,
It wasn't this shiny when we got it. It spent the last 16 years in a barn, and hadn't been used. Actually bought it from a farmer, and he had it on a hopper bottom that 16, 17 years ago. And just realized, or had the realization that we better not use this thing anymore because something could happen to it. So he parked it, and it's been sitting for 16 years, and we got it. Well, needed some tires and the airbags. And we were going to run it in the summertime, so hence the new air conditioning. Polished it up. All original chrome. That didn't take much polishing, but the paint took a little bit to bring it around. Did polish the tanks. Wheels got polished, but
battery box and
Yeah. Just I mean, you don't see as many of these A models, you know, as you do with the 359s and stuff.
no. Well, the A model ended. The A model ended in '82 for the most part. Now, there were kits built in '83 and '84, and that are titled. You'll see an '83 or '84 title because that's when the kit was done.
Sure.
But yeah, I think '82 was the very end of the A model.
Right.
And this one is not a kit because it lists the engine and the transmission and stuff on here. So it was
Right.
not put together as a kit.
No.
But yeah, like I said, VIT interior. I like the Eldorado seats. Those are great. Just a really, really good look. I like that old light up there, the old blue light.
Yeah.
Neat truck. Like, and it just, well, if you know old trucks, you know that smell, and that's a really good smell. in
Yeah,
that
that's what it's
interior,
got.
You know, and it's got a VIP steering wheel. So yeah, VIT interior and VIT bunk was very important trucker, but this steering wheel, on the other hand, was the VIP Vehicle Improvement Products, the
Okay.
3-spoke steering wheel. So, you know, when you got the bunk curtains yet there, I mean, that's a really nice truck. I like this. And then you guys are selling a couple other trucks too, aren't you?
Yeah.
check that out in there.
Yeah, the work they put into the interior with the buttons, you know,
That's just really neat.
it is. It is.
You know, somebody's Cadillac back in the day.
Oh, if you had a conventional, then I mean that was a big deal. Has
Right.
it got a winter front in here or anything?
I'm not sure. I don't
Okay.
think so.
But yeah, what a neat truck.
Check out the front of the hood on here. There's just no stone chips, very few. You know, the original reflectors and directionals, headlight bezels,
Yeah.
how straight that grill is,
Yep.
straight bumper.
Yeah, a lot of times these will rust. The chrome here rusts.
Yeah, and actually, this is the AC condenser on these Kenworths.
In the grill.
Yeah, this right here. And
Yep.
she don't leak. I mean, when I charged up the system, I mean, you do got to recharge it once a year, every spring, but these are impossible to find that aren't molested or damaged, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a pretty truck. Yeah. Well, and at Farmer.
And if you don't like that one, we got a brand new one.
So this is new then.
Yeah, what?
2021. And we ordered this truck to be the replacement to the black and white one. So went with a different color, obviously. And I like the turquoise color. I've always liked that. It needed to be white on the bottom, so.
So it was a factory two-tone?
No, it wasn't. I don't believe you could get factory two-tone, or if you could, it wasn't how we wanted it done.
We wanted it to match the other trucks.
Oh, okay. So you ordered it turquoise and had it
Yes.
painted?
Had the white and the stripe done.
And obviously did some other work then. I mean, you did some work to the frame and the...
Yes, we had the frame shaved, had some nice fenders put on it. There is a wet kit on it. Well, at least the pump is on. The hose-
Well, everything's on there, just needs the two hoses run through the deck plate, but
605 engine,
605, 1850, 2050?
2050.
Oh, she's the big one.
Yes.
18 speed?
Automated. That was
Oh.
going to be the best part. That's what I was looking forward to. I've had enough of the shifting lever, and I was looking forward to the pressing the button.
but
Okay.
yeah, it is an 18-speed automated.
This truck never got on the road because I had ordered a car hauler front axle that I wanted to get under it yet. And we have the axle, but I just never took the time to get it under there. And I also enjoyed driving that black truck. The black truck it's a nice truck, and you hear the stories of the emission trucks let you down, or maybe it's you got to run a logbook in those trucks that I didn't like. So this one never got hooked to a trailer. Nice to look at, and it looks similar to our other trucks.
That's brand new. 300 miles or something on it.
Yes, I bought this brand new in Green Bay, and I took my boys up to pick it up. And I think Avery I don't think he was even 16 at the time, and he drove it part of the way home at 15 years old without a driver's license. So he's got probably more miles on his truck than I do. And then Alec hopped in. He had a license, and he made it the rest of the way. Anyone can drive this truck. It's just that easy. You press the button, and you press the throttle, and it goes. And you want to stop and press the brake. It's that simple.
So did Peterbilt of Wisconsin do the paint job?
No, that was done elsewhere. But it's a diamond tri-coat pearl to match your other trucks. It's a bit tricky to paint. It turned out really nice. Changed the exhaust, changed the bumper.
Still got all the emissions on. I mean, nothing's been altered there.
Change the seats.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that you'll want done has been done. Put car hauler mirrors on. The door jams. All in painted to match. Sear seats.
Sahara tan interior, platinum, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep, and it's the old dash.
Right.
So that's a biggie on these. So keyless entry, never even been taken off the spot. So keyless entry's never been used then.
Right.
Smells like new. It does.
I don't know if we ordered this with a refrigerator. For some reason, I don't think there's a refrigerator in this because I wasn't gonna. I've never used a refrigerator in any of the trucks or a CB, but the dealer says you better order a CB anyway. So it's got a CB, but I'm unsure about the refrigerator.
It's fairly cheap, I think, to get the CB from the factory, or it was.
Right, yeah.
So it's one of them things you might as well. It's cheaper than buying one and putting it in.
Right.
And then it's factory in. But yeah, that had to cost a few bucks to shave the frame and
Yes, it did.
put the fenders on and paint the ends of the tanks, and
Yeah, it's all, I mean, all the expensive work's done to it.
she just needs to go,
Find it.
It's a license plate.
yeah, to be on the road.
Never had a license plate.
Right.
And
It's pretty neat. It's almost too nice to use, but there ain't no good in the shed.
no. But yeah, that's cool. It's got the old dash yet, because that's, I forget, was it 22 or 23 when they went away
That, yeah.
to the new style dash?
Right.
You know, and yeah.
Yeah, now, the way I understand, they're not building the 389s no more.
They're done.
Yeah.
So to get a brand new 389 with the old dash is what you got here.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Is that the last truck that's on the sale?
No, there's a couple more.
We
Two
got-
more. Let's take a walk outside.
All right, so what's this truck?
Well, this truck actually was cleaned up and put in a shed next to the other trucks up until yesterday. 2 days ago, I had to get it back out because we are keeping one truck, one 05 red and white 379, and the head gasket went out of that one, so I had to get this one.
Get old reliable out.
Yeah.
So even though the stickers were stripped off and the IFTA was gone and Chicano was missing, she still pulled the trailer the same. And 05 379.
You should add allegedly after this in case the DOT was watching. Allegedly.
Well, that's why I didn't stop at any scales yesterday.
So is this a 05, would this be platinum or is this American class?
American class.
This one is still an American class.
Just one rolled out window.
Oh yeah, that is. Okay. Yeah, the rosewood of the American class is a pretty deal. Two-tone interior. Hardwood floors in this one.
Yeah.
13 speed.
Yeah. C15 worked over.
That runs good.
Runs good. You never had to worry about this one coming home. This truck was the truck we run every day. Just been a hell of a good truck for us. I mean, whatever it needed, it got. I mean, it 336 rears, wet kit. We got paperwork on the engine overhaul. A little over 1 million miles, 1.1 or something. We had the truck since it had, I believe, right around 600,000 on.
Okay.
So we pretty much know the ins and outs of it. New transmission, big 4-core radiator. I mean, it's been done right.
So she'll handle the power then.
Absolutely.
750 horse by calculation is what we're told.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Single turbo. It does. It goes to work every day and never complains. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And someone always wants to talk about the truck. When you stop somewhere, someone always has a question or wants to take a picture.
Yep. Yeah. She's a sharp ride.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get her cleaned up for auction day. She'll be standing tall.
Wet kit. Everything works. Good rubber. And
It's one that all that needs is a license plate too. And
Yep.
John threatens that the driver could go with this one, but I think the driver's staying.
Never know for the right price.
And then there's another Kenworth.
Yeah, we got that old W900 over here.
Yep. Old, right? She just
30,000 miles.
Yep.
But
I don't know, I'm a Pete guy. I think at 30,000 miles on a Kenworth, they're probably getting pretty worn out.
it's getting there probably. But that's a 22 model. 565 X15 Cummins, 18 speed. It's got the heavy single frame, 46 rears, 8 bag.
Factory pusher?
Yeah, factory pusher.
That's factory wheelbase then too.
Yeah, yeah.
So she hasn't been stretched.
No, it's just the way it come out of Green Bay, and it's a truck we special ordered.
Yep. And there's your.
It's got, I think, about every option you could get.
18 speed of the 565 2050, right?
Yeah, 390 gears in the rear ends. 46 rears, 18,000 front axle.
So she'll pull.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Pull as hard as a new one can pull.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You get the right old guy working on that A model in there, and I bet she'll put this one to shame.
I know it would. But it'll make somebody a hell of a tool. I mean, it's got all the stainless wraps on everything. You ain't got to be polishing all the aluminum. I mean, it's wrapped wherever you could wrap.
Yep.
And like I say, heavy single frame. It's got the, we don't like that for corrosion purposes with that double frame. And
Yeah, because 3/8, this is bigger, ain't
a
it?
half inch.
This is half-inch frame. So,
Yeah.
And look at that drive line in there.
Right.
You know, it makes you wonder when you look at the drive line on one of these that with the 2050 that how the hell did that old 80 Kenworth in there survive with especially the guys that you know put the wrench to them a little bit and turned her up. And this is disc brakes too.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that 21 Peterbilt? That disc brakes? Okay.
Yeah. That disc brakes, I think, is a kind of a common thing. I mean, I like it. We got some trucks with it on, and it's simple to work on and stops a little better, I believe.
Yeah.
Been on this farm, and it's been taken care of, and that's where she's always run, is right here.
Okay.
Yeah. And the house was right between that bush right there and that tree right there.
Okay.
They had just a farmstead. It was just, they were very, very good farmers, but didn't spend any money.
Okay.
But good people. Grew a lot of potatoes here.
Yep, the sandy ground.
You bet. Yeah. No, and like I say, plowed this whole farm with this tractor, you know.
Yep.
Took care of it. It was about 160 acres here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and this tractor kind of got you started into your affair with equipment, huh?
You bet. You bet. You know, I read Ed, the throttle never was pulled back. You know, it was pulled back some, but not a lot.
Yep.
Grandpa never pushed her too hard. And I can remember we went to Watoma a couple times to get the valves ground on it. We'd take the head off of it and grind the valves there. And and they had a team of horses on this farm too.
Yep.
That worked with this tractor.
Well, a lot of guys kept the horses around for raking or planting.
Yeah.
Planting.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They all a lot of hay was made with horses.
Yep.
you know.
Yep. Well, a lot of guys were slow to go to tractors.
Oh,
you know?
you bet. My grandpa's brother that was in here when we got in here, he had a set of horses, and he had a Minneapolis too, and then he had a little Oliver tractor, and
Yep.
so but this farm was always farmed like that.
Yep.
Never changed it, you know. Yeah, and it wasn't thrashed here. We did the thrashing on this farm.
You had a silo filler, I'm guessing.
Yep, you bet. Yeah,
Did you milk cows here at one time?
I helped my grandpa.
Yep.
Yeah. They milked, I would say, I'm just guessing, maybe 30, 35 cows. you know.
Okay.
They, and you know how it was. Everything had to be just so. It
Yep.
was two brothers that farmed this farm here. So, and my grandma was the boss. Yeah.
So did they run the case on the belt, or that PTO?
On the belt.
Okay.
On the belt. Yeah.
So how many cubes is an SC case? Is she bigger than, like, say, a Farm All M, or?
Smaller.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, by God, now I can't tell you. I'd have to, you know, John? No,
Bigger than a WD Alice?
I'd say about similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They have a good governor though, and
yeah.
Okay.
The governor was, they were quick on the governor.
yeah, you got to have that if you're filling silo.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want it slow, or you're going to be plugging that.
Yeah. You bet. You'll find out where the governor is.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that's no fun climbing that pipe and getting her.
No, that's for sure. But their machinery was pretty much all in the inside. There was nothing sitting outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
An accident with horses.
What's that?
There was an accident with horses.
Yeah.
What happened there?
What had happened there was we had the thrash machine set up on the back side of that shed here. And I was tending blower, and I was probably 9 years old on it. And we're winding down, letting the machine run down. And by God, we were right here on where those pine trees are, was where the straw stack was being built. And so we were done loading. We were done. We were waiting to start up a new load. But anyway, my grandpa, he was on a team with a team of horses. And he was on the wagon, and he went off that way towards that other farm. And when he got closer to that farm, that team of horses it acted like it was really scared. And I was little, and I didn't know what was happening there. Well, by God, finally, that team got over there by Adam's place, and it made a big U towards that other farm. And it was coming towards the end of this barn. And they thought for sure it was going to run into the barn. But that wasn't the idea of the horses. They got off got the fence knocked down and got down to the end of that barn there. And there they stood. There was they just were like dead, you know. There they stood. Well, my grandpa run out in the field there, where those horses made that big loop, and when the team made that big circle, my grandpa ran out in the field to him, and he was going to stop that team of horses. Well, there was no stopping. They run him over.
Ooh.
And I mean, they really took him for a loop. And he ended up over here on the other side of this truck and really all smashed to hell. But my grandma, he walked to the house, and Grandma, they had an old Dodge car that if she drove at 30, that was 29 faster than she usually drove it. She took him to Berlin to the hospital. And I mean, he was smashed. I could remember he was pretty well broke up, and the ride that he got to the hospital had to be about 15 miles an hour or less. And so got there and he walked into the hospital, and then the cops and everybody were there, and I guess I thought too, the way he was hollering on, carrying on, that he'll probably never make it. But anyway, he made her into the hospital, and Grandma, they got him into the hospital there, and he got a hold of my dad, and my dad was probably in his 40s probably at that time, and they carried him up and they got him over to Oshkosh, and boy, I didn't think I'd ever see him alive again.
You went with him to the
Yep.
hospital?
No, I stayed here, and he was really smashed up, and but he made it, and he made her through that whole rigmarole here, and kept on farming, but it was really tough on him because everything was broken up, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So he just, what wasn't broke up is broken up, but he made her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably like the tractor better than the horses after that.
Oh, yeah, you bet. You bet. Yeah, there was, how horses were.
Yeah.
But that's just the way they were. And we shut the machine down and shoveled in some oats that was laying around, and it was, I cried my hinder off that day, but we made it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Yep.
This tractor, Richard had acquired, it's been probably 19, 20 years ago. The guy brought it in for a repair. Local guy brought it in to have a clutch put in. So Richard put a clutch in it, and the guy come to pick up the tractor, and Richard gave him the bill for $400, and the guy said, "That's too much. You can have the tractor." So Richard kept the tractor and stored it out west of Berlin on the farm that his grandpa had owned, where we were at earlier today. So this tractor was in the shed out there for years and years. Well, at that time was a few years. About 18 years ago, my wife says, guess what? I'm pregnant. And, come time we got to pick out baby names, Well, Lisa's going through the book of baby names. Well, I like this one and I like that one. One of the names she picked out was Avery. I don't know if I'm quite sold on that, but Richard's got a tractor that's called an Avery. I remember that. So west of Berlin is kept stored out there. Well, I went along with it. We named our son. When the baby came, it was a son, so we named him Avery. 18 years ago. Well, about a year ago, we were needing something to pull a float in a parade. So said to my son, "Hey, won't you go out with Grandpa and pick up that tractor?" Because at that time it was sitting in that shed for 17 years without moving, sitting in that dirt. So my son Avery went out there with Grandpa to pick this tractor up to get it ready for a parade. And engine was set and tires were flat. Well, Avery and Grandpa worked on this tractor, to get it going. And we made that parade that, I think it was a Christmas parade that we were in that we needed to get it out. Well, Avery, step up here. Here's, here's a namesake of that tractor. Here's our son Avery. He drives that tractor in the parade when we use it, pulling the float.
Lucky me.
Yeah. Yep.
That tractor runs so good.
At least you weren't named Minneapolis.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Good one.
Yep.
Yeah, so that one ain't going anywhere. That one will stick around for a bit. So you heard Richard talk about his grass lot where he used to sell equipment years ago when he just got started. The grass lot is right over there across the street.
Yep.
Next, they're underneath that tornado siren, and on the right side of that white fence behind those black mailboxes, that narrow little strip of land is where Dad started. That's where he displayed his equipment. Probably the John Deere 630s and John Deere Gs and Farm All Ms. That's where that stuff was parked. I remember that stuff there. I don't remember it like it was yesterday, but I do remember it over there. But where Dad started, where he grew up, is that house right there. That's Moriarty Refrigeration. That's where Dad got his start. That's the family business he grew up in that he didn't want part of when he turned 17 or 18. That's when he decided to go on his own. He came up with R&M Motors. So that's where Dad started. Right there is where Dad lives. That's where John and I grew up. So we didn't get very far. R&M Motors, as everyone knows it, is down the road to the north here a mile. But this is where it all started. That's where John and I grew up. That's where Dad grew up. And right here now, in the building behind you that we were just in, was the John Deere dealership that Dad talked about.
Yep.
That was Hoosier Implement that closed up in the early 90s. So John and I remember coming over here, looking at the 4440s, the 4455s, the 7800s, 7810s, the 9400 combines. They were lined up here. They were a New Holland dealer. That stuff was lined up on the grass lot next door over there. So we'd come over, and right across the street from home, we had all this neat, cool stuff growing up as kids. This was Hoosier Implement, and they were also an Articat dealer. So you come over here and get parts for our snowmobiles, or if the lawnmower broke down, it was just so simple. It was just life as we knew it. And I think that was probably part of Dad's driving force. What he wanted to be when he grew up was something like this.
Yep.
And turns out that George Hoosier, who started this, was good friends with Dad's dad, Bernard Moriarty. They were good buddies. So probably in 2013 or 14, we were able to buy this building. And that's when it sat empty for quite a few years. In 2012-13, we bought this building and did some remodeling inside. But for the most part was as you see it.
Yeah.
And we had our mechanics up here. So about in 2011, we moved our mechanics up here. We had 5 full-time guys up here reconditioning the tractors we'd bring up from Illinois and Indiana. It was all done in this building. Then we're taken out to the north building. That's where we get cleaned up, polished, pictured, and advertised. But the wrenching got done here. But this building, well, in 2015, when we re-geared and went to construction equipment, the commodity market in 2014 or 15.
14 really started to drop.
And we had some hard times. We experienced some hard times in 2014, end of 14.
Yeah.
And had a big auction out there, consignment auction, our own stuff that we sold in December. It's just what we did every few months. We'd have our own auction. Well, the commodity market dropped and we lost our ass on a lot of the stuff that we sold, and that warranted a phone call, and we had to go down and see the president of the bank downtown. And he said, "What are you guys going to do?" He said, you guys lost a bunch of money. What's your plan? And we told him what our plan was. We're gonna keep going somehow. This is what we know. We're gonna figure this out somehow. He says, "Well, you're gonna have to put up the titles for your vehicles. We got to take mortgages on your houses."
They took the titles for our vehicles, deeds for our houses, and we were going again. And they cut our line of credit back by 1/3. And we thought, at least I thought, how the hell are we going to survive on 1/3 less credit? We couldn't survive on full credit. Well, somehow we figured it out, and from that point forward is when we started to acquire all that neat stuff, and it worked smarter, not harder, I guess, and we had to deal with the cards we were dealt, and
Rest is history.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds good. Well, thanks for the Moriartys for showing me that collection. Really neat stuff. Just cool to see a business like that grew, that's kind of the American dream. So thanks to those guys for showing that to me. The auction is April 29th, Wilkinson Auctioneers. Check it out. Those tractors are absolutely awesome. And I'm a truck guy. Love trucks. They also got some really cool Duramax pickups. I didn't think we needed to throw them in this video, but yeah, I think if you're into tractors, it's definitely worth checking out. So Wilkinson Auctioneers. So thanks again. Thanks for everybody that watches these.